by now. You should have somehow realized what you gotta do. I don't believe that anybody feels the way I do about you now.
What's up, everybody? I thought I'd go ahead and share two things that I thought were super fun. So you may have seen the LinkedIn profile roaster. Um, I can actually go ahead and walk through how that works. I think it's quite funny. And I'm going to go ahead and interview the guy who created it. So, you're welcome to go ahead and follow the link. What is the LinkedIn profile roaster? Well, let me show you. First thing you got to do is find a LinkedIn page that you want to roast, ideally your own. So I'm going to go ahead and just grab the URL. Then I'm going to paste it right in here. I'm going to hit roast profile. And so what's happening here, right, that Vladislav will explain during this interview that I did with him, is how he's taking this data from my LinkedIn. He's putting it into a structured format, running it against Claude. So if you don't know what Cloud is, it's like similar to like OpenAI's ChatGPT. It's a competitor, and so it's using, it's that generative AI to go ahead and develop this, right? And so, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about Kyle Shremmy's LinkedIn profile. Now, if Kevin Bacon's 6 degrees of separation had a professional cousin, it's Kyle's job history. The dude's been in more positions than a politician's excuse book, right? And then it gets meaner. It's hilarious. I find it funny. I hope others do as well. But what intrigued me was how fast he was able to take just a simple URL, right, that has a bunch of data on it, run it against AI, and then come up with pretty pinpointed, hard-hitting roast. And that was the start of the conversation. To move beyond, because I don't know if you guys have 45 minutes to watch the entire thing. If you do, feel free, DM me or comment. I want the transcript, and I'll send it to you, no problem. But what I actually want to share is how I can take this transcript of our conversation. So what I'm showing you here, if you can see it, right, is that this is essentially, this is called Fathom. So all this does is it sits as a recorder inside of my meeting, and it will transcribe and use AI to grab some input, and it'll all record it, right? And so I use this oftentimes when I'm meeting with clients of mine. So I'm having conversations because it does this beautiful thing, and there's a lot of them, but I can copy the entire transcript of the entire call. What I can do with that, right, is I can use the AI kind of built in to kind of look at the summaries and flag things. But the way that I found to be very useful in using AI, and it's not difficult, is you can actually copy the whole transcript and paste it into ChatGPT. And then we can go ahead and summarize what the meeting's about. You can ask it questions. I can ask point of view of like the person that I'm interviewing. Say, hey, from Vladislav's point of view, what did he find most fascinating, right? And so I'm just going to walk you through. It shouldn't take too long. I'm going to show you a couple of prompts, how to throw the transcript in, and what the output is. So buckle up. So first things first, I open up my ChatGPT. I like 4.0, right? If you want the free version, you can use 3.5. But honestly, at this stage, everybody should be paying for it. It's not a tremendous amount. There's lots of different options. Um, I encourage everybody to go ahead and get it. There are a couple options. So if you're working within a company that has some privacy concerns, there is a paid plan for what they call Team. And that basically doesn't allow AI to train off your information. And you can kind of keep it confidential, right? So if you can, I think it's $30 a month versus the 20, but it'll enable you to get the prompts, and that's really what's important. So the first thing that you need to do is just create a prompt. You already saw me; I copied the transcript from that conversation, and so an easy prompt, right, just that I can go ahead and make is I can say. Pretend, okay, your mission is to review this transcript and summarize the topics and talking points between, and I like to define who each person is because you can ask it better questions. Kyle Stremme with High Kick Sales, right? And Vladdy Slav with data brew. Okay, so now I've defined the two folks, and I'm going to go ahead and then say transcript, and then I'm going to use some hashtags to separate the transcript. I'm going to paste the whole transcript in here, and then I'm going to go do this and watch what happens. And I can maybe zoom in a little bit more, right? But you can see this is taking a 45-minute conversation and it's summarizing what we talked about. So if you want to find out what this whole interview is, I open the conversation, understand, right? LinkedIn roaster, we talked about why it was created, technical challenges and AI. So, he talks about, for example, some of the limitations, but more importantly, how much it costs to do this at scale. So one of the things about his little roaster is he's well over 12,000 people leveraging this. It's cost them over $1,000 in credits to be able to run it, but you're talking about 12,000 runs through this, right? So this isn't like using one-on-one like I'm talking about here. This is like a tremendous amount, right? And he uses cloud, right? So that's how he's using it, similar to how I'm using ChatGPT. So what's interesting is I grab all this information in here, right? And now a good use case, now that all my information's in here, is now I can manipulate this. I can ask it questions, right? So I could say from Vladislav's POV, right? Point of view, what does Data Brew do? So that's the company, right, that he works at. He's the co-founder of, right? And it tells me what they do. And I can say, simplify this for a seventh grade reading level and use bullet points. Right. So now it's kind of helping me understand what he does, right? If I wanted to ask, and then you can say, okay, um, describe some of the challenges he has in going to market currently. I can ask that because I know, right, this was some of the things that were discussed. So it goes ahead and shows some of his challenges. Okay. What are some potential ways that Kyle with high kick sales could add value to the challenges that Vladislav is facing? Right? So that's pretty incredible. It gives you different, and I'm going to finish with just as an example. Um, Write a 5 sentence email to Vladi Slav from Kyle, uh, offering to help him go with his go-to market. And so what's really great about this is taking a tremendous amount of context, right? 47 minutes of back and forth conversation. And it's creating a very easy email that I could send afterwards to Vladislav saying, hey, I'd love to help in these ways, right? And it knows who I am, it knows my strengths, my weaknesses, and it can easily summarize and do things like this. I just want to show you this use case because I can use this use case in a lot of different ways. I can use this if I'm trying to develop proposals for my client. I upload my discovery call and my chat with potential customers of mine. I get all their pain points and their challenges and the impact that that's causing on their business. And then I align that directly with what I do. And then I can even, get super nerdy. I've got like a book called $1 Million Consulting, and what I can do is I can upload the whole PDF of that entire book. Then I can actually ask basically the author of that book to draft me a proposal that are aligned with the client's need, that are aligned with the services that I provide, and a proposal that maximizes the value for myself, right? And essentially helps the client achieve. All of this is done in minutes. It is bar none, uh, way more polished, right, than anything that I would do, or it would take me a tremendous amount of time to get there. And so it's not just about saving time, but it's actually about better listening. It's better quality output, and it's something that everybody should spend some time on. So, one, if you are in customer facing meetings, you can record on your phone, right? You can transcribe the whole call, do the same thing. Absolutely keeps you from having to take all these notes. Sometimes you might say, oh, I want to remember that so I can bring it up later. That's fine. But you are sitting there transcribing, you're not looking at visual cues, you're not giving them the time that they need. So that goes for in-person meetings. It also goes for remote meetings. And so it's just a little trick. It's an easy use case to begin with. And then you can just start kind of starting your journey. So I hope that's helpful.